does it make you uncomfortable?
It does. I don't get it.
You know, at one point in time, you were holding me as a baby. It was like, it's not weird.
Nah, yo. You know that? Picking her up and shit. Calling me, y'all. She's really cool. I love her. I didn't even see her. Oh. Yeah. Right, walk away from your own bluff. Sounds good, Scott? Right here. Look. Little things to soft again. Like, what do you do at home, bro? Like, you don't care if you I was thinking on the ground. Troy, Michigan, dog. Troy, Michigan. You never know what it was like to just sleep on the mattress and shit. We all do. No, just
At Sierra, Jack discovered great pickleball gear at incredible prices. Which led to another discovery. His hair does care. I love pickleball. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra. Let's get moving.
mattress on the ground. Oh yeah, the pH balance messed up. You know what that is? The what?
I'm gonna be wrong.
Well, what is it? I really don't know what it is. I've been hearing a lot of people say it, so I'm just saying. So I choose one. You know what I'm saying?
Am I right?
Huh?
Am I right?
I don't know. You gotta ask Skyler. I don't know either. You don't? You be hearing people say that though, right? Yeah. I'm hearing Baby Rich say male pH. Matter of fact, somebody search what pH balance is real quick, and I'm gonna call Rich and ask him what he knows. Because I know he don't. He don't know what the fuck that means. It's a real thing. You gonna put a display on there? Yeah. So, did you see? What does it mean? You got it, TT? Probably don't know. Hey, bro, I'm talking to this girl right now. What do pH balance mean? Like the initials. It's crazy. Like, what is it? If I be like, yo, pH balance fucked up, what does that mean? Ain't right. I'm saying, what does pH mean, though? Because I heard you say that multiple times, like earlier. pH. But what are you messing up? That's what I'm asking.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Nah.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day, every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-wrenching, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came, though he had been made exactly for this job. Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Everybody be saying, girls, for the big PH belt, they don't know what that means. Talk about acolyte. I'll be thinking that I'm really tired of myself, but I think I'm out.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
It's over with, bro. You just tired of me knowing you talking.
Yet there was feeling a wave of disbelief. Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Somebody. Oh, Asian man. What is you worried about me for?
This is clear.
Get some for your empty ass house. Somebody told you get something. Wouldn't you just get it? I'd find something. There's no objective going on.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm gonna say, what you want over here is me. If you point at what y'all think, let's cancel. Hey, Eric! Eric! America! 1 second. Anything over here, which one is me? Which one is you? Yeah. You gotta compare me to anyone over here. What kind of question is this? You want me to be racially motivated?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Anything y'all want? Anything.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would...
Stop talking about the length of shit, bro. What's wrong with you? Look at this.
That's nice.
Pronounce this.
blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Oh.
Was it over?
Is it really? That's what I said. Baconator. That pussy Baconator.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where what other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Like, seriously, y'all, let me tell you how I'm 28. Because COVID stopped 2 years of everybody's life. So technically I'm 27. 28. Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 17 or some shit.
So how old are you right now? I mean, teaching these sports, you know, how old are you? 20.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
One jail. Wait, that don't even make sense. 18 is 8. Not fucking.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Hey, Doug. Come here real quick.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
You know that motion? Do you know this motion? You know this motion, right?
I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of the world outside this one.
Now it's night.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
That's an off-camera type of thing to do. What? Take the mask?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went blank.
It's hard. It's like a Michigan nigga dream. Shit is hard. What? That was crazy. Like
this is the story of a woman named Mariella.
But if you got this in the East Coast,
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
Listen, them
And
folks
then she
saying
turned and ran.
that they bugged MLK hotel rooms, and when they bugged this whole hotel rooms, they like heard the audio from multiple orgies. So like MLK was having like mad bitches and niggas just fucking, right? Because he was into that shit, right? And they also said the most dangerous shit too, which is again, bro.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
MLK laughing as a Baptist pastor is raping a woman in a hotel room, right? And they claim all that shit, right?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Those are times where the FBI is
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
That part, but I heard something about him cheating.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
You know, you hear stories and you hear conspiracies.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
You know, even that kind of like fuck niggas up when they heard that shit. You know what I mean?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, wait.
So we put her in place to actually go.
And it was planned.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling away in disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Hey, listen, they need food, right?
Maybe, you know what I'm saying?
It's House of Blues.
Yeah. Last living human, man. Ever since Flacco seen Drake, he been talking nonsense. Or nonsense.
Oh, nah, ever since Flacco seen...
He put that on. I didn't want to put that on. Stop forcing creep on us, man. The dude's been great.
Bro, Creep been great, man. It was like...
Who the fuck is Creep?
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill surprise.
Go over there and do it up.
Hey, listen.
Hey, you know what? I was like, yeah, I wasn't turning it up a little bit. Where I seen, the show, he was like, I seen Flacco talking about they finna be back. You know what I mean? They finna do this.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Down, you, this and that and the other. And I'm like, nigga. You know what I mean?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Wait, he was trying to...
So he was trying to He was trying to
The door
out-believe
behind
on
him was
Rick,
not
you know what I'm
shut.
saying, and get that.
Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I don't even talk
At
to
this
her.
point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Competition with somebody, bro, who's not even like thinking, bro. I'm so focused on like, what I'm doing, bro. I have no time to even like address her. You feel me, bro? Bro, that's weird, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, that's a whole nother thing when we doing it up.
Nah, that's not too weird.
Follow my Drake, bro. Both suing bums. You know what I mean? Shout out to Point and Shoot. Whoever reacts to Flacco content and shows, every time he's live, make serious money. I think you
But
make
of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Flacco talks brain rot, Kendrick fan base, not kids.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find
Not
out?
like us actually anthem and have kids feel that energy. You fucking fuck, you are crazy, dog.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
And no fucking playlist on this planet Earth can do that.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Was it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Look, right? No, look. It will take a lot of resources, right? Again, they have to sort of like spread out.
Game that never ends. That never ends. The Stanley Parable, Ultra Deluxe.
Trolls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
You guys apologize on stage.
No, they didn't.
Do that shit right now.
But J. Cole said it.
Man, you crazy, bro.
But J. Cole said, listen, bro, fam, there's no point even engaging, because I'm thinking, yo, this is some rap shit. I ain't know this.
Hey, welcome back to the channel and some more Stanley Parable. Stanley Parable. Not the... Nope. We ended up back at the start again. Oh yeah, it was lit. Nothing around there was you just never know though, like every time we come back here, like anything can change. Right, down we go. Oh no, yeah, this is where I ended it and got out to live. That's the main menu, yeah.
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. The large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Did he know? Oh no, am I allowed to escape? Goodbye.
Word into motion, and Stanley was in.
The tone, load of beat block is definitely a thing of
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?